we remember the keynote of Daniela Caimanque. She gives us another speech, Lessons Learned in the Elaboration of the First Odor Regulation in Chile.
Okay,
now we are interested in your speech.
Thanks, Margaret, for the introduction, and good morning again. Today, I will present our path toward an odor regulation, the challenges that we faced during the process, the final draft of the first odor regulation, and the lesson learned. First, I would like to mention that the Ministry of Environment has a specific department of noise, light, and odor pollution. There are not many countries in the world with this kind of department, which leads very citizen issues. And now I will present our odor public management strategy in Chile. The starting point was in 2012 when a pig farm provoked a huge socio-environmental conflict in a town called Freirina in the north of Chile. This conflict mobilized the Ministry of Environment to develop a document called Strategy for Odor Management in Chile. And before to start a regulation, we decided to adopt 6 international technical standards of odor measurement. And in parallel, we carry out several studies regarding to the future regulation. And in that time, we needed to learn more about the topic. Then we organized several seminars and workshops as well. And after our deep diagnosis, we decided to regulate odors by selected activities. First, for pig farms, second, fishing industries, and third, pulp mill. The regulation for pig farms, we already have the final draft, and that will be the first odor regulation in Chile, and I will refer just about this process in this presentation. Here, I would like to illustrate that our plan toward an odor regulation turned out different to the reality, because we had different obstacles, unexpected obstacles, which I prefer to call challenges. Now I will present the 3 most important challenges that we faced. First, the meeting zones differ wildly in their size by number of animals. Here, I want to illustrate in the green area, there is a town, and the area highlighted in yellow is the biggest pig farm in Chile with 400,000 animals. It's a huge pig farms, 400,000. Now, I want to show you the same big pig farms and another small one. The small pig farm fits 230 times in the large pig farms. This is a challenge because both are subject of our regulation. Second challenge, proximity between communities and emitting sources. The green area is the community, and the yellow area is a pig farm. You can see that the community is just 50 meters to the piggery farm. I remember that this pig farm didn't meet with the most common international odor impact criteria, even with the best available technology, because the receptors were too close. Third, uncertainty due to the lack of territorial planning. In this photo, we can see in the green area, the residential area, and the yellow one, a pig farm, in 2018. And due to the lack of territorial planning, it's very common to build new houses close to the emission sources. The same photo in 2021. I will repeat, 2018, 2021. Therefore, it was difficult to set another impact criteria if the receptor will change year by year. So, the final draft of the first Odour regulation has requirement by size of emission sources: large pig farms, medium, and small pig farms. And the limits will be expressed in other emission rates. For large pig farms, the requirement is Odour emission rate that allows to meet the Odour impact criteria. That means that the first year they have to measure total Odour emission rates by dispersion modeling to determine the total emission rate to meet the Odour impact criteria. And when they already have the technology, they have to measure the total Odour emission rate determined by the year 1. The situation for small and medium pig farms is that they have two important Odour units. One is a slurry lagoon without treatment and compost area. And the requirement is Odour emission rate reduced by a certain percentile in slurry lagoon and in compost area. Our goal is to high the technical standard, for instance, from slurry lagoon to biodigester. Therefore, the first year, they have to measure Odour emission rate in a slurry lagoon and compost area, and after that they will implement the technology, they have to measure Odour emission rate in the specific Odour unit with achieved reduction. To sum up, the final draft of this regulation has two kinds of Odour limits, as I explained it before, and there are other requirements which complement the Odour limits. For example, an online report and operational practices for all kinds of piggery farms. The lesson learned in the elaboration of the first Odour regulation, which is still in progress, are: first, a deeper diagnosis by sector can help to get more effective requirements according to the reality. Second, it is necessary to diversify approaches and complement with other requirements the other values. And third, for us to have a strategy, it is important because we strongly believe that Odour standard is only a part of the solution. And as I said before, we expect that new regulation in Chile can open future possibility to other regulation in other countries in Latin America. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniela. Are there questions? Yes?
Hi, Daniela. Is there any because this conference is related to wastewater treatment plants? Is there any date for the regulation for wastewater treatment plants in Chile?
In our strategy, this sector, we expect that we will regulate, but now we are developing 3 other regulations: piggery farm, fishing industry, and pulp mills. Probably the 4th sector could be that one.
There is time for another question. Yes, Günther? Günther Schauberger from Austria.
Thank you very much. Do you think it's an appropriate way to find such specific solutions for small farm, medium farm, big farms, or other pulp mills? Sometimes in many countries, general limit values are used instead of such very specific and individual solutions. What's the advantage of your approach compared to a more general approach using odor impact criteria?
I don't know if I understood well the questions, but I understood that you, Carlos, could you help me? Because I don't know if
It's just that in Spanish or in English?
Spanish?
Que te preguntaba si there are translators here better than me, but te preguntaba si esa aproximación que habéis hecho con granjas pequeñas, medianas y grandes, que es una aproximación fija, digamos, si, bueno, que le parecía que tenía limitaciones y que habría que tener en consideración otros factores que no solo sea el tamaño de la granja.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. I understood well, but I wanted to be sure. Okay, yes. According to our diagnosis, and for that reason, we are regulating other regulation by sectors, because the reality of pig farms is not the same of pulp mills or the fishing industry. For example, just in the case of piggery farm, we have this situation that we have a huge piggery farm. I am sure that here in Europe there are not this kind of huge piggery farm. But in fishing industries, it's not the same. All of them have the same size. And that happened with pulp mills. We have 8 industries, 8 pulp mills, and all of them are actually the same as well. Yes, and therefore we expect that, for example, in the second odor regulation, we will do the same deep diagnosis, and probably the requirement will be different to the piggery farm. And probably the third regulation for pulp mills will be different to the fishing industry and piggery farm, because it's other reality. For that reason, for us, it is important to regulate by sector, because each sector is different to other sectors, and inside the sector, we can find different realities as well. And we believe that in this way, we can elaborate more effective regulations.
Many thanks to Daniela. We realize regulations have to find the way to reality. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.